a lot of us, the biggest battle that we face right now is fear that a time like this produces in our lives. Fear is a reaction to a situation we are in or could be in, and it creates a response in our emotions where we become anxious. If we take a look at Mark chapter 4, starting in verse 35, we read of a time when the disciples were with Jesus and they faced a situation that caused fear to be their response as well. Verse 35 starts, "On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, 'Let us go across to the other side.' And leaving the crowd behind, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. Other boats were with him. A great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat, so that the boat was already being swamped. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him up and said to him, 'Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?' He woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, 'Peace, be still.' Then the wind ceased, and there was a dead calm. He said to them, 'Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith?' And they were filled with even greater awe and said to one another, 'Who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?'" It's important to recognize that the fear in this story was valid. It was real. The disciples were expert fishermen who knew the sea and could recognize the real danger that they were in. And they were convinced that they'd even die. But then there's Jesus. Look at how Jesus acted. It says he was in the stern, asleep on a cushion. I wonder how the disciples viewed Jesus at this moment. They faced real danger, one they expertly understood, while their teachers seemed unfazed by it all. But it was at that moment Jesus awoke, and then stepping out, he commanded the waves to be still. And instantly the wind died and the seas calmed at his word, the very word that spoke the sea into existence. For many of us, fear can be a symptom of a lack of faith. It is human to imagine a worst-case scenario, but do we remember that God will be with us in the future? Do we see only the waves, or is our attention fixed on Jesus who still rests in the boat? It's easy to let fear grow bigger than God, but God is not surprised by a pandemic or anything else that you're facing. So in the face of a fearful world, let's focus on turning our attention to our fearless God.